So the iPhone 16 series. Now I know what you're gonna say, that the upgrades are minor, but I feel like there is some value in these upgrades. So here are my thoughts on it, and let's take a look at it. Since we're talking about value, I'll start with the iPhone 16 base model. Here I have the iPhone 16 Plus, and personally I do feel that Apple has made the base models as great in terms of value as the Pro models, giving it the new camera control, the action button, new cameras, thinner bezels, and a larger battery. Not to mention, the base models will also have the A18 chip, which is built for Apple Intelligence. Now about these upgrades. You've probably already heard a lot about the new camera control, so let me just tell you how it's worked for me. It definitely is something new, and with that comes growing pains, but I feel like all it takes is some getting used to, especially with the clicks and the double click, and you'll be fine. Personally, I feel that the sensitivity of the camera control could be better. Sometimes I struggle when clicking and swiping between functions, and I just opt to click or swipe on the screen instead. Its placement is perfect for me, especially when I'm holding it vertically. It's right where my thumb is, so it has now become like my preferred choice to access my camera. Speaking of which, there's a new 48 megapixel fusion camera. Fusion camera? What is a fusion camera? Essentially, it's your standard main camera with 48 megapixels, but it also utilizes the middle 12 megapixels of the sensors to give you a stunning 2x telephoto option in full resolution. So this is why they call it a fusion camera, because it can capture 48 megapixel photos and optical quality 2x telephoto. We also get autofocus in the new 12 megapixel ultra-wide camera and the ability to take spatial photos and video. Sadly, the base model is missing the telephoto camera and the ability to shoot 4K 120, but unless you're a content creator or someone who uses your phone as your primary camera setup, I don't think it's something that will be missed. Spatial audio is also something I was excited to hear about because they'll also come in the base models as well. It truly is chef's kiss and really elevates the iPhone 16 base models to match the content creating abilities of the Pro model. And you're actually listening to it right now because this whole video is shot on the iPhone 16 Pro and 16 Plus. As for its display, I can honestly say that I audibly gasped when I first saw how thin the bezels were, and that's a plus for me. But the one thing I know people can't get over is the 60 Hz refresh rate in the base models. But in the words of my sister who currently uses an iPhone 13, is there even a difference? I don't even know what you're talking about. So I do believe that if you're coming from using a phone that's also 60 Hz, you're not going to see the difference. Or if you're someone who doesn't particularly pay attention to that much, it's not going to affect you. In all, I find that for its value and its cost, that the iPhone 16 base models are really good enough for a lot of people, and it's the closest to the Pro models than it has ever been. Not to mention, it comes in the best colors that I've personally seen since the 11. Now moving on to the Pro models, I feel like this is where a lot of the minor upgrade comments come from, but personally, I would choose the iPhone 16 Pro because I'm a content creator and my job really revolves around my hand phone a lot of the time. So this is where, a 5x telephoto lens and also the 120 refresh rate really makes a difference for me. So the iPhone 16 Pro and Pro Max this time around are pretty much identical with the exception of its size and battery life. So there's 3 new cameras, the camera control button, thinner bezels, and the A18 Pro chip, which is built for Apple Intelligence. There's 3 new cameras, the 48 megapixel fusion camera, 48 megapixel ultra wide, and the 12 megapixel telephoto, which does edge out the iPhone 16 base models because it has better image sensors and an additional camera to it. But I personally think that the biggest selling point for the iPhone Pro models is its camera capability. Speaking of which, 4K 120 is something that the Pro models are capable of over the iPhone 16 and 16 Plus, and I feel like it's great for content creators or action seekers. And again, spatial audio and audio mix is also part of the Pro models, and it's honestly such a nifty little tool to have for content creators, but not limited to as well. Now about the displays, honestly, there's no major upgrades except for the size of the display and the thinner bezels, and also the ability to go down to 1 nit of brightness, but that's across all 4 iPhone 16 series. The Pro Max does have a bigger battery than the Pro, but both have a larger capacity than previous models. Now for the elephant in the room. Is it glow time yet? No, but hopefully soon. So I totally understand why Apple Intelligence was the theme and the focus of this year's launch, because obviously it's something that's new to the iPhone and it's never been seen before on the iPhone. But I do really wish that it was ready to use right out of the box. And hey, it might just be around the corner, but like MKBHD says, buy something for what it is, not the promise of what its future is. And I kind of agree. But that being said, I do think that the iPhone 16 series really holds its own compared to other phones on the market, and I'm really excited to see what Apple Intelligence can do. And there you have it. I think people love antagonizing new products, maybe because it doesn't live up to their own expectations. But at the end of the day, phones get older, they wear and tear, software gets slower, the battery can no longer hold a charge, and what do you do when that happens? You need to get something new to replace it with. So truthfully, it's all about perspective, right? To an iPhone 15 user, these upgrades might not be enough to persuade them just yet, but in a year or two, they'll find themselves reaching for the latest iPhone. And to an iPhone 11 user, these upgrades, these little upgrades, are more than enough reason for them to purchase the new iPhone 16 series. You know what they say, a little goes a long way. Till next time, my name is Gwen, and let me know what you want me to take a look at next.